Welcome to the Red Lion Inn, home of country curtains. Since my husband Jack and I founded the company over 30 years ago, we've answered many questions about window decorations. This program enables us to share our experience and to visualize many ideas in a way we never could before. Window decorating takes time and patience. It is a statement of your own personal taste. You want all your window treatments to be right for your life and for your lifestyle. You have a right to be particular. Believe me, I am. When the stores didn't carry the unbleached muslin curtains I wanted for our home, we made our own. That was the start of country curtains. If you have been to our stores or ordered curtains from our mail order catalog, you know how particular we are about our merchandise and about our service. During the next half hour, we will see and discuss how choosing the right curtain can make a dramatic difference for virtually every room in your home. We have so many lovely curtains to see. Please join me in the living room. This is a charming room here at the Red Lion. And I'm showing you a curtain which is probably my very favorite, even after 30 years. You can't go wrong with the tied-back style in this narrow ruffle curtain. This curtain is a delight. It will stay fresh and crisp for months and months. The light coming through the unbleached muslin softens your room. Here, I've simply removed the tie-backs, pushed the curtains apart at the top, and you have a completely different look with much more light. Tier-over-tier curtains are marvelous. I like them so much because you can adjust them both for light and privacy. They're great. Now I've taken the tier off the top half and added the regular ruffled valance. A valance is always appropriate over a tier. It lets in more light, but you still have privacy. Somehow, it's a more casual, a cuter look. And when I use a swag alone at the top of a window, the result is a much simpler look with lots of light, showing more window. You might not think you could use this curtain in this room. It's ruffled, it's lace. Go ahead, use it. When you don't want ruffles and you don't want dressy, fringe curtains might be just the thing. Fringe curtains can be used in every room. They are perfect for those of you who want the one harmonious appearance for all your curtains from inside and outside your house. Notice the classic look of these tied-back curtains. For a colonial look, this ball fringe curtain tied back is perfect. We are in another living room now, at the Buck House where my daughter Ann lives. This living room has a wonderful bay window. Perhaps you don't have a window like this in your house, but it does show you what to do if you have several windows together. These windows, of course, are the old-fashioned ones with the 4 panes. Sometimes we think we are lucky to have this kind of a window. At other times, we think we are unlucky. Today, we think we're lucky. The first way we've done this window is with the giant ball fringe. You've seen the smaller ball fringe. This is just a little bit larger and goes well with the scale of this large toile wallpaper. It's a marvelous curtain for anyone having a little bit of difficulty deciding what to do. It just adapts itself to any kind of room. You can use anything with it, any type of furniture, both formal, informal, mahogany, pine, anything you want. You can tie these curtains as low as we have done here. You can tie them at the middle of the window. You can even tie them up high if you want to let more light come in. I know there are lots of you who want a formal look in the living room, so we have selected this antique satin curtain shown with a swag. On the edge of this curtain is a wonderful fringe. It does soften the look a little bit, and the swag is a marvelous thing. To treat this bay window with an even more formal look, we have chosen an antique satin fringed swag over a sheer panel. This is probably the most dressy look that you could put at a window like this. Yet having a fringe at the edge of the curtain does take away from that stark look that draperies sometimes tend to have. You may prefer to use a swag alone, without another curtain, to give your room enough of the formal look and still enjoy the view. Here is a wonderful way to treat any window where again you want a dressy look. I've simply used a valance made of the antique satin fabric with the fringe on the edge over a curtain made of the same fabric. Now look what this lace curtain, just hanging from the rod to the sill, does for this set of windows. Marvelous fabric, easy to care for. It covers the entire window, so it gives you some privacy and all the light filters in. This curtain is not quite as formal as if I had the lace all the way to the floor. It gives a soft, romantic look to the room. I wanted to show you a more modern setting for the curtains, so I chose White Pines Condominium here in Stockbridge. And at the sliding glass doors, I've chosen the rose antique satin-like lined drapery. It's practical, it's elegant, it keeps out the heat and cold, and it's so easy to live with. The green plaid tab curtain is another way to treat a sliding glass door, or any of your wider windows. Here it is with a wooden rod. It has a marvelous tailored look, and once again, being fabric lined helps save energy. When you want an insulated tab curtain, this homespun is very versatile, and it can be used almost anywhere in your home. And here I put up the very same textured homespun, both for privacy and for a very tailored look. You may have windows of different lengths next to a door, as they are here. Here is one way to handle this decorating challenge. Our hand stencil, tied back, forest vine curtain is a wonderful way to treat a window when you want light, cheerfulness, and warmth. Notice how the stenciling highlights the woodwork. Now for an old-fashioned look. I've chosen our red calico curtains for both windows and the door. You can see the dramatic change from the tailored forest vine stencil to the cozy look of the calico. I've simply taken one pair of curtains, tied them back at each window, and for the hourglass door panel, just take a tie back, pinch the curtains together in the middle to let in more light, and give some degree of privacy. Don't think you can't use lace at windows like these. It looks wonderful. Here it is perfectly plain on the door and stretched on tension rods at the windows. For a frillier look, let's try the lace panel at the door and put a stationary lace balloon at each window. They're great. You don't have to put them up or down. It gives your room a wonderfully romantic look. Curtain length is a matter of personal preference, whether to the sill, apron, floor, or anywhere in between. Just be sure they do not block heating vents or radiators. It's a good idea to use a metal tape or a yardstick so you get accurate measurements. As for width, most curtains look best when the fullness is at least twice the width of the window. The fuller the curtain, the more luscious the look. For kitchen or French doors, measure the length from the top of the upper rod to the bottom of the lower rod. For width, measure the rod from inside the brackets. The 3 rods for double-tier puff curtains should be positioned as shown. Single puff curtains require only 2 rods, as shown here. Deciding how high or low to draw your curtains is a matter of personal preference. The length, width, and fullness of your curtain and the decorating scheme you've chosen will determine how you tie your curtains back. There are no hard and fast rules where the tie-back should be placed. When you've decided on the look, you should have in hand a metal tape or wooden yardstick and a sharp pencil. Measure from your windowsill to the point where you've decided to draw your curtain back. Mark it and measure again from the other side. Place your curtains on the rod, pull them together, gathering gently and evenly across the top. Fold each tie-back in half. Use them as loops to draw the curtain from the center. Then simply pin each tie-back on the spots you've marked. Now check the middle with your straight rule, measuring to see that the center of each tie-back is the same height from the sill. It's fun to experiment and find ways to make your curtains look new by simply adjusting the position of the tie-backs. I love this house. It's one of the most fascinating and historic houses in Berkshire County. Even Aaron Burr lived here at one time. And now Betsy, the innkeeper at the Red Lion Inn, lives here with her family. This library is a perfect example of a square colonial room. It has the most marvelous woodwork, and of course we wouldn't want to do anything to detract from that. So we're using a very simple curtain, a homespun curtain with a blue braid which blends in beautifully with the room and which picks up the blue in this very charming room. Putting a tie-back on this curtain simply lets more light in and frames the window a bit differently. You'll note that this room has perfect windows, 6 panes over 6 panes. If we could only have these windows in our own houses. Now I've simply taken a tier and put it across the bottom half of each window to ensure a little privacy. Perhaps your neighbors are close, or the road is nearby, or you just don't like to look out quite so easily. In that case, this is what you could do in your own home. This ruffled curtain can completely change your room from a straight tailored look to a very warm and luscious look. I like the curtains tied back down low. You could tie them at the middle of the window if you wanted to, strictly a matter of choice. Adding a ruffled tier to the bottom half of this window does many things. It ensures more privacy. It helps keep the room warmer in the wintertime. It helps reduce the noise from traffic if your house is on a busy street, as this one is. And it adds a feeling of coziness to the room. This is a marvelous look for your windows when you want to change to feminine, romantic, luscious ruffles. You simply take a pair of wide ruffled curtains, put the selvage edges together so that you have a framing ruffle all the way around the curtain. Put them up at the window. Take your tie back and swoop one up to the right and one up to the left, and you have a really smashing look. Perhaps you're looking for a more masculine look for your library, den, or family room. This blue corduroy hangs very well. It's a very good insulator in the wintertime. It's very good for shutting out the light in the summertime and provides that masculine, tailored look. By simply tying these curtains back, you soften the line of your window a little. And these curtains are great to use with matching bedspreads for a boy's or a young man's room. We're back to a luscious look at the windows, this time with a band of color. It adds that certain touch and picks up the predominant color in your room, which in this room happens to be blue. It will do the same for your room, whichever color of edging you choose. I've tied these back high, but tie-backs in the middle or low on the curtain are perfectly acceptable too. This is one of my very favorite places in the entire world. It's my daughter Ann's dining room. The interesting thing about this window is that I'm using an early American tab curtain at a 4-pane Victorian window, and it works. Tabs are probably one of America's oldest styles of curtain. If you're looking for authenticity, hand-stenciled curtains will give your room a true colonial look. Painted curtain rods are wonderful to coordinate colors. This blue Irish lace is delicate yet sturdy. It adds a touch of softness to your window. Use it anywhere for a less formal look. When you want a lot of light, a swag at the top of your window is the perfect answer. And the delicate hand-stenciled trim running along the edge of these curtains gives you just the hint of color you may want. I can't begin to tell you what a delight this curtain is. It's like having a bouquet of flowers at every window. And the gentle puff is something you can't get from another type of curtain. This curtain reminds me of a country cottage, so roughly, lively, and romantic. It's such a joy in your room. This time I'm using a sheer curtain with a lace edging. It's soft and filmy, an exquisite look for your room. The type of lace in this curtain is macrame, and macrame lace is as old a craft as stenciling. I've shown it with 3 valances. You'll note that the tiebacks are brass and blend in with the design of the lace. This curtain looks dressy, but it is very easy to care for because the voile material is a tergal. It is also a good choice for the living room and the bedroom. First, I've put up a sheer curtain, and over that a tapered valance with a swag in this wonderful floral print. It's a luscious burst of color. For those of you who remember that wonderful library we were in, we're now in the very same house, but of course in the kitchen, the most cheerful kitchen in Stockbridge, I do believe. And because it is so cheerful, we decided to use the narrow white ruffle curtains. They are just light and bright and fresh, and the sun comes through and makes you feel happy all over. At the top of the window, we used 3 valances for a very full, luscious look, and then tied them back at what we thought was the appropriate place. Now, of course, you could put your tie back higher up on the window if you wanted to. And because at this particular window, which is rather strange to have next to the window there, but remember, this is an old house. So we put the tie-back curtains here, but the tie-back at the very same height as the curtains over the window. And then when we went to the door, we did the same thing. Now you'll notice that this window doesn't even have panes in it, and yet the 3 windows go very well together because we've used the same type of curtain, and the tie-back at the same height sort of ties them all together. It's done a marvelous job for this kitchen, and I know that something similar can do a wonderful job for yours. Often you will want to pick up just a little touch of the color from your woodwork or wallpaper, and in this instance we have picked up the yellow from the clover in the wallpaper. This curtain has an embroidered-like colored edge. It's light, fresh, and airy. I'm using it straight with valances. Checked gingham has always been one of my favorites, and this yellow and white checked gingham is just marvelous in this room with the blue and yellow wallpaper. I've shown 3 valances over the sink, and on the window to the left, tied back, and tied back on the door. I've just shown you how you can take the same windows with 3 different curtain styles and come out with 3 charming looks. For those of you who like to change your curtains with the seasons, here's the way you can do it. I think bathrooms are the most challenging rooms to decorate. They are small, so many people in the house use them, and you try to satisfy everyone. Usually, I try to tie in the bedroom with the bathroom. In this particular bathroom, I chose a red and white striped Oxford cloth with a tier and valance, because we don't have next-door neighbors and we don't need privacy. If I needed privacy, I would use another tier at the top. I've used a matching shower curtain. There is no hard and fast rule that your shower curtain has to match your window curtain, but in this case, it looks well. I decided to make a feminine ruffled look in the very same bathroom, so I've chosen the ruffled all-over posies, tied back, and again with a matching shower curtain. It's a wonderful curtain, one of my very favorites. It gives a delicate air and the light comes through. And now something completely different from what most people would put in the bathroom. An embroidered Swiss curtain used alone, not under another curtain. It's filmy and light, and yet does give some degree of privacy. Even though the eyelet shower curtain doesn't match exactly, it adds interest and gives a wonderful air to the entire room. A comfortable bedroom is so important. I like this simple, traditional, early American look. Notice that matching and contrasting curtains can be used well together with the stencil printed wallpaper. These luscious ruffles for sheer romance show how an incredible change can be made in this very same room. This Irish lace balloon adds a fresh, soft touch to this already romantic room. Over the years, you may want to change the look of your room. Let's look at the dramatic difference curtains and a few accessories can make in helping you to do this. This bedroom would make any young boy happy, and Mom too. These patchwork quilts work well with practically no care. Add the unbleached muslin ribbon fringed curtains for a touch of color and lots of toys for little boys. You don't have to spend a lot of money making over a room. Change the curtains, the bedspread, add a few pillows, and that's it. All I've done is put up these irresistible eyelet curtains and fluffy ruffled bedspread for Daddy's little girl. How easy it was to change this room. Just a few things here and there. A fresh curtain at the window, a different bedspread, and we're ready for family and friends. Country Curtains is a family business, and I'd like you to meet my family. My husband, Jack, who started it all. My sister, Zoa, who's been my right hand throughout the years. My daughters, Nancy and Ann, a very important part of Country Curtains. My grandson, Casey, and his dog, Samantha. Thank you for spending this time with us.